we agreed that section 1 and 2 are more or less social. So,
Yeah.
so the context, they're easy. You shouldn't miss any marks. At this level, your level, I think you shouldn't miss any marks in section 1 and 2. Because first of all, the context is easy, social. This is number 1. And number 2, they're divided into 2 parts. So the track is divided. They will tell you read from number 1 to 4, and then they'll tell you read from number 5 to 6, for example. So it's easy. So this is the first thing. Now, it's very, 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 very important. The first most important tip in IELTS is you need complete 100% focus. So what you need to do is your pencil, sorry, because it's a pencil, it has to be on the gap here. And you're on standby. It's like you're a cat waiting to catch a mouse. This is the listening test. So you're always on alert. You have to be on alert mode, because you need to remember this is just a one-time track. Once it's passed, it's gone. So unless you catch it from the beginning, it's gone. But worst case scenario, if you feel you missed it, you have to leave it. There's no thinking. There's no trying to remember. Don't try to remember. If you missed it, you missed it. Focus on the next one. If you think you missed it, just go move your pencil on the gap and think. Now, but before you do this, before the recording even starts, when they tell you, read question number 1 to 4, this is what they'll tell you in the exam instructions. You need to be really fast, and you need to read everything before you listen. This is crucial. This is very important, because when you read before you listen, now you have a better sense of expectation. You know what they're going to talk about. You know what they're going to say. You're expecting a number. You're expecting a noun. You're expecting an address and anything. Do you get the idea? Very, very important. You need to do this. This is, I think, the first important tip. The second important tip, very, very important, this one. Unfortunately, a lot of high-level students fall for this problem. Can you see this instruction in the beginning?
3 words.
No more than 3. When they tell you no more than 3, it's easy. It's fun and games, because you can write a lot of words in the answer. But sometimes they tell you no more than 1. When I worked at the British Council as an IELTS marker, if I find a question where it asks you 1 word or number, like this one, can you see this one? Now, let's say a new venue of a new store of an international business, a new type. Let's say this is the word. Right? Now let's say in your answer sheet, let's say this is the correct answer type, for example. But in your answer sheet, I find this type of. Do you know how I mark it? Wrong. So it's very, very, very easy to lose marks in very small things. Another thing, let's say the correct answer is type. Let's say you write it like this. What happens?
This is a wrong type. What's it called?
Spelling.
Wrong spelling.
Actually, in your listening, spelling is another problem. I've had good students, good candidates, whose listening is actually good. They have good listening, but their spelling is not good, and they lose marks. So this is another thing you need to be careful of. So your spelling needs to be correct. Now, a tip that might be useful during the listening itself, when the CD is playing and you're still writing in your question sheet. Now, if you write it incorrectly when you're listening in the question sheet, it's not important, because in the listening test, they're gonna give you an extra 10 minutes to copy your answers, right? So when you copy them, you can correct the spelling, no problem.
I have a question, please.
Sure.
What about the different the different, for example, tire? When you write it in English, it's different when you write American. Tire.
Correct.
Tirae. This is American and Canadian one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tyre, I believe. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Is the British one?
The-
Yes, yes, yes.
it's
So
actually
what
the
happened?
opposite. The Y is British, the I is American Canadian.
Yeah. So what's
It's actually allowed because
okay?
in the answer key we have options to mark with.
Okay.
So for example, when it comes to American British spelling, usually it's okay. You can write American, you can write British.
Meter,
These
color, yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
color,
yeah,
a lot of words.
yeah.
These are okay.
Okay,
But
okay.
in the writing test,
Uh-huh.
it's another story. In the writing test, you have to write with only one variety.
Okay, I see. I
So
see.
if you start with American, everything has to be in American style
Okay.
spelling. If you do it in British, you have to do all of it in British style. You cannot mix. Mixing will be
That
considered
yeah,
a penalty in your spelling.
yeah.
It's
Sounds
not a
fair, yeah.
disaster. It's not a
Yeah,
disaster. I mean, but
yeah.
it's better to avoid it if you can. That's all.
Okay, sounds good.
So this is an important tip. Be very careful with the instruction of how many words they need, because if you write just one word extra, even if your answer includes the correct answer,
Mm-hmm.
they will mark it as incorrect and you will lose the mark. So
Okay.
you have to be careful. And spelling, this is another important thing. So, like I said, task three, section three in listening, it's a discussion with more than one people, more than two
Yeah.
people, actually, more than two. So you need to be able to focus on different people saying different things. This is a
Okay.
bit important in section three, Hada. In section four, this is where you need to pay attention because it's in one go.
Yes.
It's not divided. The recording is not divided.
Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
The whole thing is together. They tell you prepare answers 31 to 40.
Yes.
And the time they give you to prepare is really short. So you need to very quickly just check and there's no common areas in where the blah 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 can change quickly. What is it? I don't know. Okay, animals, parasites, marine
Yes.
animals, maybe health, maybe I don't know, something noun. Poisons
Yes.
from something something noun noun. Okay, okay. Accidental strandings, unlike a majority of or not. Do you get the idea? You need to be
Yes.
quite quick. So you manage to check all of them before you listen.
Okay.
That's all. That's all in listening. I think that's the only thing
Yeah.
you need to talk
And the
about.
most important thing,
Mhm.
try to collect scores from the first two sections.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah.
Because
It helps.
let me show you section one should be 10 points without a question. You should get all 10 of them, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Because the level of section one, it's it's I think maybe A2, B1. It's
Oh,
elementary B, pre-intermediate A. It's a low level.
okay.
It's like an entry level.
Okay.
You should get all of them.
Yeah.
It's
Section two.
yeah, it's like a pre-intermediate exercise or elementary B.
Yeah.
Very very straightforward. There's
Yes.
You shouldn't miss anything. Now, section two also is not too hard, but in section two, it's always like an advertisement, some kind of advertisement.
Uh-huh.
A person, it's usually one person, talking about something, explaining it.
Uh-huh.
It's not hard either, to be honest,
Uh-huh.
but it needs a little more attention. You need to pay a little more attention. But also in section, it's usually related to marketing, advertising, work, something like this.
Yes.
This is section two. It's always like this, and it's usually one speaker. You will notice it's one speaker, the first person to correctly. Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Section three. This is the one where you have lots of people talking. You have this character Spiros. You have Hirako talking, and I think they're talking to their professor.
Okay.
I remember this exercise. Yeah, I think this one had three people talking. The professor and two students were talking, having a
Uh-huh.
discussion. Section three is always a discussion style question. And number 4 is also another monologue. But let me just confirm number 2, because I remember number 2 was also a monologue. Just شخص واحد بس يتكلم, just a person, one person. But let me. Exactly. Yeah. Can you see?
Yes,
It says the
between
first
two
two
speakers.
sections. It says here concerned with social needs. الأول اللي هو section 1 يتكلم لك, there is a conversation between two speakers, هذا section 1, followed by a monologue,
which is
number
section 2.
section 2.
Yes.
So in reality, in the exam, عندك 2 monologues.
Yes.
Section 2 monologue, شخص واحد بس يتكلم, and section 4 monologue. So those are the monologues, just one person talking. But in section 2, the good thing is it's divided.
Yes.
The recording is divided. You get a chance to breathe a little bit. But in section 4, it's not divided. The whole thing is together.
Yes.
This is the difference. هذا section 3 يتكلم لك عليه. There is a conversation between up to 4 people.
4 people.
انك ما يوصلش ل 4 في العاده, في الغالب 3. ديما شبه دائما يعني ثلاثه اشخاص يتناقشوا.
Okay.
And the first one اللي هي 2, just a conversation, 2 speakers. Usually they're asking about some kind of hotel booking, I don't know, bus ticket, plane ticket, course, حاجة زي. And this is the idea.